Once upon a time, there was a group of dads who started playing D&D. This is their story.
Hello and welcome to D&D with Dads. We are back. We actually had a pretty amazing last episode, but you didn't get to see it because we had a technical, what I should call a catastrophic technical error. The recording failed. The recording failed. So we collectively, and mostly by we, I mean you guys, are going to recap what happened in this epic lost episode of D&D with Dads. Andy, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so if anybody saw the previous episode, you remember that we ended up basically at the start of this cavern where there was a cage that attacked Humphrey, and by that I mean a cage fell over his head and trapped him. And then this Minotaur ran up to the cage with the axe in hand, and we were all like, okay, that just happened. And anyway, Riff, who fortunately had gotten this nice new harp, played his harp to calm this Minotaur down, and it worked. And we were able to avoid conflict and actually get information out of the Minotaur. Tell him we wanted to get through the maze, and he asked, did we want to get to the tower or to the treasure? And we told him the tower, which of course we're hoping will be the Mage's Tower, which we all almost forgot. That's like the quest we started on so long ago. Anyway, speed things up. We got beyond the Minotaur, and we started going through some tunnels, and then, the Minotaur actually led us on that we should listen for the Piper's tune, and that was where we wanted to go if we were trying to get to the tower. So heading out, I think it was Estroff who picked up on the tune first, and through the guidance of his grandmother, through one of his magical artifacts, we got through to this area. We got through kind of these tunnels and came out to this area where there was a huge slide thing. And I'll let Nathan go from here because I think he has a better grasp on what happened there.
So there we were, twists and turns, left, right, straight, we don't know, and we managed to find our way, as Andy said, in front of this slide. And I the way I envisioned it, it's like a 45-degree into darkness stone slide, and through the grace of the dice, we noticed that a little bit farther down this slope was a grease spell. Right, and as we were inspecting this more and trying to figure out what the hell we do about this thing, we noticed a ring, a little right before maybe even right above the grease spell, and it looked like it had some runes on it, right? And that is when our dear comrade and friend Durant said, "No, guys, I got this," right? and so then. I think it was Mikey, right? We had he cast the spider climb. Durant is right there upside down like this he was born to do, getting closer and closer, trying to inspect these ruins on this ring around this slide. And then all of us are in the back, kind of a little bit in the darkness, just sort of waiting, and we hear Mimic. Durant is spider climbing out of there. Everybody's freaking out. We have to dispatch with this Mimic, and we do so, thankfully. And after some debate, we figure, hey, what the hell? Let's just go down this thing. So we all chain up like a bunch of crazy Jamaican bobsledders, and head down this thing, greased up 1 billion miles an hour, and that's all pass it back.
Yeah, and so we get down there, we suffer some pretty bad friction burns or something when we got to the bottom of the slide, and came out, I want to say, above this kind of lake. It looked like mercury, right? Like mercurial either colors.
Yes.
And like this big cavern, and we could hear this loud, clearly we'd come to the right place because we could hear this tune just echoing around the caves. And we saw out on this little island this strange looking creature, and was playing on I think it's a pan flute. Mm-hmm. I mean, Riff would know. Riff has a pan flute, and trying to remember, did somebody start hearing whispering going on? Something like that, Bill.
Yes. There were when you first got down there.
It was like it was like overseeing like a cliff almost.
Yeah, you basically
right, and then there was the lake
your,
below, and there was an island that was like a little farther out, but it was just like suspended in air, right?
Right. There was basically one pillar of rock jutting out from this lake of mercurial still water, and that's where the Piper was sitting.
And there was something with the music. He stopped playing the music or something, and that let us kind of talk to him. He didn't speak our language, but he kind of like mimicked us to come over, and we ended up having to just walk over the air.
Yes.
But we had to trust it. Remember, that was the thing. Like because I remember like being tied up with rope and me trying to take a step over, and I just fell.
Yeah.
Like straight over.
Oh, yeah.
And then who was it that took the first step?
It was probably Estroff.
It probably was.
But remember, someone said, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And like these loud echoes came back and like dazed half of us because they were talking out loud. Right. And then Riff actually whispered to the Piper. He said, "Can we come join you?" Like we wanted to join the Piper, right? And eventually, like the whispers got to him, and you could see him like look surprised, and then he's like beckoning to us. Right? I only remember that because that was like Riff's first ever inspiration point for whispering that to the guy.
I think
we all got inspiration.
Yeah, everyone was on because everybody got something.
Yep. And so we got all the way there.
Yep, and we actually were walking on this, and it was like walking on, I don't know, one of those
like bubble jets of air or something.
Yeah. And then we got there, and this guy set out these food, like cheeses and foods and fruits we've never seen and drinks. Like they were empty goblets, and I think I took a sip of.
Yep.
No, Estroff first took his wine. What is it? Goblet of.
Oh, that's right.
Wine, and he poured it in there, and it like just spilled out the top. So it seemed like there was some kind of invisible clear liquid in there. So Riff took some, and Bill's like immediately like all your wounds are healed. Like sweet water. And then like the fruits and the cheeses all did something. So we all gained, I think, temporary bonuses that we'll probably talk about tonight. They're like 24-hour bonuses. And then the guy started to explain. I forget what language he was talking.
Well, you guys had to cast. You did a couple different like machinations so that you could communicate with him, right? So I don't remember exactly how that was, but somebody had comprehend languages.
Yeah. I had comprehend languages, and Tuco ate something. I think the cheese.
I ate the cheese.
The cheese of many languages.
Yeah.
So Tuco could speak to him but didn't understand, and then you could understand. So you were kind of using this system of this circular conversation, and then you guys were enabled to have comprehension. So at that point, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if you want to give the description of the physical description of the guy.
Yeah. So you guys had not. And I think a couple people had made like history or arcana checks successfully, and the physical appearance of this humanoid was not like anything you'd ever seen. He first and foremost had kind of a tall, ectomorphic build, very sinewy build, with gray skin and no body hair anywhere. No eyebrows, no eyelashes, no facial hair, no body hair. And his brow was kind of prominent and his jaw was kind of prominent. So in so far as appearing like a humanoid, but not like any race that you guys had ever seen or learned about. And also the language was unlike anything that you had seen or heard before. But clearly he had, a magical tie to this place, as he was able to conjure things from thin air, and you guys communicated with him and imparted what it was that you sought, and he offered you some options, if you remember.
Yeah, he did, and he also somehow it came up where we sort of led on to why we were here in the first place, and Shim came up, who was the master from the old episodes, and we were reminded that Shim was tall, and he kind of had some interesting features that, although it didn't look exactly like the Piper, somehow it came around that Piper let him know that they were both from the same realm, right?
Yes.
And I want to say that Shem used to be in the place of the Piper, or he had a different position within the Sleeping King's world somehow. But he had either stolen something from there, or he had done something to lose the favor of the Sleeping King. So that was interesting, because we're like, oh wow, so in a different realm, Shem actually looks maybe like this guy and talks like him. But this guy, the Piper, seemed to be on the level, and he actually gave us an interesting choice, which I never saw coming, but we thought, okay, we're going to get over here, and then there's going to be a way to get to the tower. He actually offered up, here's this staircase, which kind of seemed to be floating on the air, that he said would lead us to the tower, but you could also go down through the Mercurial Lake to get to the treasure. But there was some caveat to that, in that if we did so, we would never be able to come back to our world again.
Correct.
That was also the same thing with the tower too. If we went to the tower, we'd never be able to come back either, I think.
Well, I think that's where there was a bit of disputation, is that I think Estroff and maybe Riff sort of understood it, that if we went to the tower, we would never get out of there, because no one ever got out of the tower.
Yeah, that's how I think we interpreted it.
But then it came to light that no, that he didn't actually mean that. It's like people have gone there that never returned. In other words, there's a good chance you might die if you go to the tower.
Way out.
And so there was actually a little bit of deliberation. Estroff was like excited to go down to the treasure because it promised a whole new world of adventure. And Riff, having understood that we would never escape the tower either, said, that's not a bad idea. But I think Durant at that point got some wisdom from his and Riff's father, because he has that shawl. Is it a shawl or a scarf?
The epic scarf.
And kind of reminded us why we were doing this in the first place, and are we really going to leave this world to the whims of the master if he gets a hold of this item and he gets the red dragon egg hatch and yada yada yada.
Yeah, we were like 7 tangents deep that we had to unwind ourselves back from to realize, why are we here again?
So Durant gave us some good wisdom, and also the fact that Durant is kind of reconnecting with some of his family. He's not really ready just to plunge into some brand new adventure. And we came around, we're like, you're right, we need to stay the course in our original quest, and we started up the steps, and I think the Piper started playing his tune again, and Riff started trying to play it and learn it as best as he could, and that got us up to, I want to say, to the next level, and we were going down a hall, and maybe we kind of stopped there, and as Riff was playing, we started hearing, getting closer, these thumps, right?
Yes.
And
one minor side note is that the further you got away from the cavern and from the Piper, the more difficult it was to remember the tune. And I had you make rolls, and Riff made the roll to remember the tune. So he so far has been able to remember it. But yeah, you heard the distant rumble of thumping, and the thumping got closer and faster. And where we ended off was as you were in this massive tunnel with a huge 20-foot ceiling, you saw a fire giant running towards you. And it did not seem to be happy to see you kind of running. It seemed to be he's lugging a big axe and he's running angrily towards you, steam shooting out of his nose as he's running towards you.
We've all been
Which is where we left off. So that's actually where we're going to pick up. Excellent recap, everyone.
Well done, Andy.
And
Thanks,
and that's where we're going to pick up. So let's all roll initiative.
Fuck, I knew you were going to say that.
What a better what way could there be to
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
9.
And let's all just, while we're rolling initiative, let's ask ourselves, who speaks the language of giant and who doesn't?
13.
That's why I was hoping for a better roll than 9.
All right, Humphrey, you have 13.
Correct.
All right, Durant.
21 for the first time ever.
Ooh, spicy. All right, Tuco has 9. Durant has 21. Humphrey has 13. And what does Riff have?
18.
18. And I'm going to have you, Durant, I'm going to have you roll for Estroff for his initiative, please.
Okay, that's a natural 11.
Okay.
I don't know what his bonus is.
Let me pull up Estroff sheet. I don't think it's significant.
Wait, do we have a record of the temporary bonuses? Because I think Estroff and Durant might have dexterity bonuses.
Oh, you're
I-
right.
For initiative. I wish I'd written those down. I only got what my bonus was.
Oh, I got 2.
Check the Discord if you guys put it in there. If not, so Estroff.
Oh, Durant got a temporary +3 dex.
Yeah, and
Okay,
one
so
other
is that-
person
is
did
that
too.
Is that a +3 to the score or a +3
To the
modifier?
ability score.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's a 22 instead of a 21.
Okay.
And I think Estroff got it too. So he'd probably be a +1 plus whatever else is on his sheet.
Okay. Well, the good thing is that the Fire Giants initiative sucks. I mean, just they are not fast dudes. So, all right. So, Durant, you are anticipating this. You're seeing this. You, without even making an Arcana roll, you know exactly what this creature is. You've seen them. While you guys were, entering the mountain, so you're pretty familiar with the fire giant, and with the benefit of insight, this fire giant definitely looks aggressive and angry, and he is running directly towards you with a big old axe.
What's the range?
He is at 90 feet away. Now, the only reason why you see him is because his armor is glowing with a light amount of flame.
So he's at 90 feet.
Yeah, and he's kind of wreathed in flame. Like there's
So-
almost like a blue outline around him that flickers off as he's running behind him. The fire flail, trails behind him into the yellow spectrum of flame.
So I'm gonna move until I'm 60 feet away from him,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna cast command,
Ooh. Okay.
and my command will be kneel.
What is the saving throw?
The saving throw for command is wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, that is not. He's not strong in that.
And
He got a
spell-
14. What's your spell save DC?
That is my spell save DC, so he saves.
Is there? Would you be allowed to use that anyways? Because you don't speak giant.
I don't know if command. That's a good question. Does command require comprehension of the language or merely the ability to understand any language? Let me see. If it doesn't
If it
understand
doesn't
your
understand
language, it does. Or if your command is directly harmful to it.
Yeah, so I mean,
The spell has no effect.
yeah, okay. Well, I mean, he saved.
But you would
anyway,
know
so-
that, right? That
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say since we're not newbies, you would have known that.
Okay. Well,
So I'm gonna let
apparently-
you retcon your move there.
All right. We'll use suggestion instead, maybe, because I don't think that has the language problem. Just verifying that.
That can hear and understand you. So it does.
Okay. Never mind. All right then. Instead, I'm just gonna cast.
Fireball. No,
I was-
Eric, that's 3 for 3.
I was gonna say guiding bolt, but okay.
Okay.
I'm screwed too. I don't have any
What is
offensive
what is
spells that are
guiding
fire.
bolt's effect?
Hang on. I am finding it right now.
Where are we? Like in a hallway?
Okay.
You are in a enormous hallway, like 15 feet wide by 20 feet tall.
And the
Okay.
range on guiding bolt
Like it is
100.
clearly made for giants. Like this is not a, you know what I mean? Like it's
How
made.
tall
for
is the fire giant?
the fire giant's like 15 feet tall.
Oh, balls. Okay.
Well, the range on guiding bolt is 120 feet, so I'd rather stay at the 90 feet
Okay.
instead of having made that move.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't even basically you could see him because he's wreathed in flames. So if you've got that range, you
Yeah.
make a spell attack against him. So
Yeah, I make a range spell attack.
ahead
Light
and do
streaks
that.
toward the target. 46 of radiant damage on a successful strike. That is a 19.
that hits.
That's 46.
And just to be clear, this is radiant, right? Not lightning or electrical damage.
Correct, it's radiant.
Okay. I ask because he is wearing plate armor.
That is 15. Yeah, 15.
Okay. He
Oh,
takes.
and the next attack roll made against the target before the end of my next turn has advantage because it's now lit up and more visible.
Okay.
Although I guess
All
it
right.
already was.
Well, that next person would be Riff, clocking in with an 18 initiative. So go ahead, Riff.
Ugh. All right. Dang, I wish Tuco had a chance to talk to this guy first. Point of clarification, and maybe you can't or won't answer me, but I was thinking about casting heat metal on the guy because he's wearing this metal armor, but he's a fire giant. Would it be
yeah.
healing him?
Do you have
Or-
proficiency in Arcana? I mean, you're a bard, so you kind of have default proficiency in everything. Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
At 20.
Yeah, so you know that fire giants are immune to fire and therefore heat damage.
Okay, that's what I figured. All right, let's see. Range. All right, so I'm just gonna move to like 60 foot if that's close enough, and Riff is gonna cast Fear on this thing, which is a Wisdom saving throw.
Is there a somatic and verbal component where you have to like rhythmically beat on a cowbell?
You seconds.
So he has to
Components are VSM for the components.
Wisdom save of a fire giant. Well, they are not the wisest of creatures, and he rolled a 5. So what is the impact of your fear, and how do you present this spell? Like, you basically run up to a creature that is double and a half your size, and you cast this spell, which creates an image in his mind of something that he is fearful of. So you don't even have to think of the image, but how do you actually like cast it?
I think just partly like he's coming straight at us, right? He's showing no fear at all.
Yeah.
And I think just sort of like, looking at him like, really, like you think we're scared of you, not budging at all. So that he's like, I don't know what these guys are up to. Why aren't they like running away in fear and screaming their heads off? So sort of that idea.
So this is a tunnel. There's no like side tunnels. So the minute that your spell hits him, you see him grind to a halt, like almost to where his plate mail armor creaks and his boots skid on the tunnel floor. He stops, and you see terror in his face as he lowers his axe and turns the other way and starts running away from you guys just as fast as he was running towards you.
Yeah, he actually has to drop whatever he was holding. So I guess he drops the axe completely, right?
Yeah, and he just starts just running as fast as he can away from you guys. Which brings us to Humphrey and Estroff, who are tied. But Humphrey, you get to go first since Mikey's not here.
I was going to do all my offensive spells are fire related. So my only other thought was...
So, you see this happen. You see, first of all, this bolt hit him. Then you see, Riff come out and cast something which the spell, Fear, you're familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was successful because you saw the fire giant grind to a halt and turn and tuck tail and haul ass in the opposite direction.
Can Mage Hand trip?
Not this big of a dude, no.
I figured
It can have an impact on like a small physical thing, like
I probably could trip a human, but not like a fire giant.
Maybe, yeah. Or you could like knock a broom over so somebody trips over it, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's got to be something lightweight.
Okay, well then I guess things run the other way. I got nothing I can do to it right now, so I'll pass.
Okay. Astroff wisely chooses the same mode of choice. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to make a roll for Astroff.
Turns into a newt.
He says, maybe we should follow it at full speed and see how far this guy gets us. Maybe he'll clear the way for us.
Okay.
And then he starts running. He starts running after the giant.
Good idea. And let's do that, guys. And Tuco, get ready to talk to this thing if we get it cornered. Maybe calm it down somehow.
My turn next?
It is. Yes, it is your turn.
So Tuco's going to listen to Estroff. He's going to spend his full movement, 30 feet, going towards the giant. He's going to use as a bonus action dash to go another 30 feet towards the giant. And he's going to yell at him, "Fool! We are on a mission from the king that sleeps. How dare you come to try and get in our way? We command you
Go lecture him
to escort us to the tower of the mage."
Yeah.
And then
right,
he's got a dodge.
I'm going to give you an option. You can choose to make an intimidation roll, and I will give you advantage. Or you can choose to make a... let's see. I'm trying to think of a different way to take into account the spell effect and how it could influence.
I mean, isn't fear just like a blind fear?
Yeah.
Of like
basically.
freaking out, like unconsolable. I must flee.
Right, but because he's speaking in giant, I'll let you choose between making a athletics check or a intimidation check. The athletics check will be a regular check. Intimidation will be with advantage.
Well, my athletics is +9.
Okay.
And my intimidation's only +3, but this was all about intimidation. So I'll go with the advantage on intimidation. 7. Natural 7, so that's 10. I'm getting terrible rolls tonight.
You are hauling, and you're, again, because of your dash action, you're way ahead of everyone. Basically, you're only 30 feet behind the giant, and you're kind of chastising him as he's running away from you in blind terror. He doesn't turn around to engage you in conversation. He's just running. All right, rest of you guys.
And my action is dodged in case he turns around on his turn.
Okay. So rest of you guys, are you all... What are you doing, I guess?
Minding my own business.
I'm following Tuco because I don't want Tuco to get murdered.
Okay.
So I'll spend my action and my movement to sort of try and keep pace somewhat.
Okay, so you're moving full speed. I'll
take up the rear.
Okay.
Riff's coming up, hanging back maybe 30 feet and getting his bow ready.
Okay, so everybody's moving. This continues, and it goes for a full minute. So you travel a significant amount of, a couple football fields worth of distance, and you're all, unless you specifically wanted to be right up within melee range of him, which Tuco you could do. The rest of you, I'm assuming, are lagging back 60 feet.
I want to stay 30 feet, so
All right,
just
so you're halfway between the fire giant and the rest of the group. But you guys get to the point where you can tell all of a sudden the fire giant kind of stops.
think carefully what your next action is going to be. You've already seen the effect of the king that sleeps has on you, because we are following the king's command.
Okay, now I'm going to let you choose between persuasion and intimidation.
Intimidation.
I knew it. Good call.
4. So 7. Was that an advantage though?
Nope.
No, because he wasn't. Yeah, I didn't. I failed.
The fear effect is gone.
Don't you have your inspiration point you can use?
You do.
You. All right, let's do that.
Want to re-roll that? Go ahead.
I need some more dice. And
He is going to. All right.
and I'm dodging again, of course.
He turns and he seems angry and he looks down at his hands as if he's confused about where his axe is. And he's like, He looks at you and he says, "King who sleeps?"
Yes.
And he points to like the rest of the group. He says, "King who sleeps?" He said he's not speaking to you in common. He's only speaking in giant. But
Yes, we're all on a mission for the king who sleeps.
Where to go to?
We must get to the mage's tower.
Why for?
The king commands it. We must stop the mage.
Stop mage?
The mage has
Stop
disobeyed
what?
the king, and we must stop him.
Why king not send steward? So, by the way, you guys hear Tuco talking in giant.
What's he saying, Tuco? Is he gonna let us by? What's going on?
So he wants to know why we are seeking the mage. What we are trying to stop the mage.
Tell him it's none of his business.
Yeah.
It's none of your business. It's the king's command.
Would you like to make a persuasion or an intimidation roll to back up that?
Can I cast guidance?
You sure can.
I will cast. Oh wait, I don't have guidance. I can't cast that. Never mind.
Does Estroff have it?
I think Estrov does. Yeah.
Let me.
I see Riff sees Durant struggling and wanting to help Tuco out, and Riff will use Bardic Inspiration for Tuco. Plus 8, 1d8 on your attempt.
1d8.
And while Tuco is being persuasive and saying, how dare you question us? This is unfathomable. While he's doing that, I want to use like minor illusion, and I want the ground to look like it's starting to freeze around around while he's doing this.
And
well played.
Instead of casting guidance, what I'll do instead is cast enhance ability on Tuco. And specifically, I will enhance charisma to help with this action.
So what does that do?
Ooh.
Your charisma, I believe, goes to a +5 for a minute or something like that. Bear with me while I review that.
No problem. So the following conditions basically you guys are layering
Mm-hmm.
a powerful amount of advantageous elements, and enhance ability is going to give him advantage on his charisma checks for an hour.
Nice.
It's called Eagles. It's called Eagle's Splendor. So
To go could use it.
yeah, so basically when Durant casts enhance ability on you, your charisma for the next hour is going to be beneficial, coupled with the inspiration and the guidance.
Yeah. Riff saw Tuco sort of struggling with his dice, and so he's got a little ditty for his bardic inspiration.
I'm going to say I'm going to roll the D4, the D8. Okay, so that's a 4 and a 4, so that's a +8 to this roll. And I'm going to add an extra D4 because of the brilliance of Humphrey creating frost around you, which
sort of radiates as he builds to this crescendo of how dare you question us.
So that's another point. So what you're going to do is make an intimidation check with advantage, and you're going to get a +9 to your roll, which is stupid high.
10 or 6. So 10 plus 3 is 13.
Plus 9 is
9,
22.
you said?
Yeah.
22.
All right. Now, the only one of those things that remains in effect is Durant's enhance ability. So you have that for an hour where you get the advantage on the charisma checks. But the rest of those things you just burned up on that. But that 22 is significant. The fire giant stands back. He takes a literal step back from you, even though you're half his size, a third of his size. He takes a step back, and he's like, okay, can pass. Go down hallway.
See if he'll join us.
Don't push your luck. Let's do this.
Escort us.
He says, okay, can do. Follow. And he turns, and he begins walking down the hallway.
I'm a pet fire giant.
He leads you to the end of this hall, and this hallway, by the way, goes for probably another half mile.
While we're walking, I want to whisper, someone had a hammer. We need to make sure we're ready to use the hammer on the mage.
Got it. But I don't think the hammer's for the mage himself.
He leads you to a set of stone stairs. Now, the architecture here, again, just to remind you, it is without a doubt the same craftsmanship, the same quality and architectural influence that you have seen previously executed by the master craftsmen and stonemasons of the stone giants. So when you guys remember when you got to the upper levels of the mountain, so this has that same vibe, okay? But it doesn't look as pristine. It doesn't look as clean, right? In fact, you even see like scuffed marks on the stonework, and some scorch marks here and there, and but there are sconces leading up this set of stone stairs, and so you see every 30 feet there's like a sconce with a torch in it, and it goes as far as you can see.
So these stairs like giant sized stairs?
Yes. So they're giant sized stairs, kind of like the great stairs in the mountain. But instead of being a spiral stairway, they just go straight, they go continuously up for as far as you could see. So you see the candles until the points of the candles just disappear to like an infinity point. So hundreds of feet up.
I pick up that drop and put it on my
the
shoulders.
fire giant points up and he says, "When get to top, must open door. Say name of steward, door will open."
Do we actually know the name of the steward? Can we just say the piper?
don't know who her name is. I wrote it down.
And he points and he says, to go. He says, follow winding path.
Ask him what's up there.
What's up there?
He says, you don't knowing?
We were commanded to go to the Mage's Tower.
He
We
says,
weren't told what the path was.
stairs will lead to the stone door. Speak name of steward and door will open. Door will open to the hidden woods. Follow path. Path will wind down road. But be careful. Will lead you to tower.
What dangers await us in the woods?
Grimfist note. Grimfist only stay here for guard.
What's he saying?
Tell him
Oh,
he's
so
done well.
I translate back to them that we have to go up the stairs. There'll be a stone door. We have to speak the name of the keeper, of the steward, I'm sorry, to open the door. And then we will follow through the path, through the woods, which is dangerous. And that path will lead us to the tower.
So then I'm like, Woods, when are we going to get to this tower? How many more dangers must we face?
He says, why puny human yelling in human words?
I don't know what he's saying.
They are my escorts. They don't know the giant tongue.
Grimfist not understanding why King Who Sleeps sends little people for big job. Maybe little people not be noticed.
Luckily, the king who sleeps doesn't require you to understand.
Oh, you. Sorry.
He shrugs. He's like, maybe. And then you see he looks down at your group and he jumps back. And he's like, what is that little thing? And he points to Astroff.
That is our good luck charm.
He says, good luck. And he points up the stairs.
Stay here on guard. Make sure nothing comes after us.
Tell him he's done well.
He says, nothing come in 75 years.
Yeah, well, we're the first. We don't want a second to be coming right behind us.
You not
You are
first.
doing well.
You not first. Others come before, 75 years ago.
We're not the first, guys. Someone else has come 75 years ago. Who came before?
Make an insight check.
18.
He says, you can tell that he's a little suspicious of you now. He says, maybe Grimfist not say. If King wanted you knowing, he would tell.
Let me ask you one question. You don't have to answer. Did you greet the people that came 75 years ago the same way you greeted us?
No. Because them had key.
Key?
Them had key.
Wasn't there some other group of adventurers that
Like a Kiri or something, right?
Right, because that's what Tuco and Humphrey are after. We are aware of these other group of adventurers that came before us. And we're
Wait,
chasing the treasure that they were supposed to be coming after.
You can make
On
a history check.
on my first episode that I had here, we went to a abandoned farmhouse.
Yep.
We discovered a key
Yep.
that had. So did I have
Yep.
that? I don't remember who had it. I'm going to take it out and say, is this the key you were talking about?
You mean this key?
So
No.
allow me to explain to you now, meta moment, that as players, that seed was planted many sessions ago. Your characters did learn that there was another group who tried to penetrate the Mage's Tower. And that adventuring company was called the Turning Key.
Yes.
And
That's
you
what we
did go to the farmhouse that had been their base of operations, and you did find a key.
Would not have remembered this. Holy shit. Well done, Dave.
Do you pull that out?
Yeah, it's like, this key?
He says, yes, that key. He's like, why you no show before? He says, you little people, not smart. He says, maybe Steward have new strategy and is why not tell you, but key's important. How can get through locked door without key?
You said if we speak the
Name of the steward.
name of the steward, the door would open.
Yes. Name of steward is key for that door. Other doors have different keys. He says, if you were not so small, Grimfist would slap you, but slap might break your head. So Grimfist just tell you, remember keys are important. Small human.
Lectured by some
Now
fire
we're
giant.
getting
Who
a
does he think he
PSA from the
is?
fire giant. Public service announcement: keys are important.
Let's just fist bump and move
For so
on.
long. We know they're important.
Let's keep going. Let's just go.
He says, hope you know name of steward when get to door. Otherwise, ouch pain will happen.
Thank you. You have done well. We will continue on.
He
I'm
nods.
going to put Estrop up on my shoulders, and we're going to start.
As
walking
you
up
guys
the
are-
stairs.
Yeah, as you guys are getting ready to go up the stairs, each of which are 5 feet tall. The fire giant goes back about 30 feet, and he reaches over to one of the sconces, and he turns it. And when he turns it, you hear a grating stone sound, and you see a section of the wall recess and then slide, and it opens up into a room. And then you see he just like goes in.
So is that next to the stairs, or?
It was about 30 feet back from the stairs.
Oh, okay.
Like you could see what's inside. It looks like a bedroom.
I don't
Now
think we
he
need to
gets
go
to
back.
see-
We need to go forward, right?
Yep. Go.
That was the guard who sleeps.
Right? Well done.
So let's start climbing the stairs, and then.
Okay. You
While
climb
we're
the
climbing
stairs.
the stairs, I want to ask the guys. I think Akiri was a keeper of the king. Is that the same thing as the attendant? What was the name they called it?
Steward.
Yeah,
Steward.
steward of what exactly? Steward of the king, steward of the
Steward
tower.
of the king.
Yeah, I guess that would be true. I mean, that's Riff's mom, Akiri.
Oh, I was
Like you
thinking of
said.
Piper. My bad.
Do we even get the Piper's name? Do you guys remember?
I don't remember it.
Oh, you're right. He was the steward of the. No, he's the piper.
All
Maybe he
right.
wears different hats.
Well-
About an hour later, you get to the top of the stairs. You're all drenched in sweat.
I have my crystal ball that I can ask yes or no questions to.
At the top of the stairs is a massive stone door. This stone door has no knob. It has no keyhole. It has a crude carving of a face.
Can
that it?
I?
Is that the whole description?
That's it.
Okay, Riff goes up to investigate the face and sees if he can recognize it at all.
It looks like a very crudely humanoid style head and a face.
So it's
The eyes seem to be closed. The mouth seems to be closed. But as you get closer to it, the eyes open and the mouth speaks in common. What is the password?
well, since Riff has picked up these 32 temporary hit points, and how much time has gone by since we left the Piper? We're still within 24 hours.
Oh yeah.
And Riff likes Tuco's idea of Akiri maybe being the steward of the king, and Akiri sounds like key, right? The name has key in it, and so yeah, Akiri.
Yeah,
You say Akiri?
Can I stand back first
before people can speak some wisdom?
Can we, Humphrey,
You say it.
that first?
Yeah.
You say it.
Say it.
The mouth says, enter. And then the eyes close, the mouth closes, and the door begins to move back. It recesses, grinding stone, and then it slides over. And what you see is outside. In fact, what you smell and feel is moist, damp, sort of chilly nighttime air. You see about 50 feet of crushed gravel, kind of stone. And you see swamp and trees for as far as you could see, illuminated by moonlight.
You guys told me when you went to visit the tower, there was this terrible forest or something. Does this seem familiar?
Yeah. Does this look familiar to us?
Does it look like it could be the flooded forest?
Uh-huh.
Yes, but yes. I will say yes.
So Durant is going to summon forth Pierce.
Oh, it's been a while.
Well, we're now in a space where Pierce might actually be able to do something. So Durant is going to ask Pierce to sort of try and fly above and ahead and make some sort of screeching sound if danger is present or visible.
Pierce flies up about 60 feet, screeches, and then comes back down.
Danger in 60 feet, buddy.
Can you
Guys,
see his eyes?
So I want to ask a clarifying question. You guys are in a stone tunnel, looking through a doorway, looking out this doorway, this arched frame. You see a forested swamp, and you see, for 60 feet at least, a gravel path in front of you.
Can I go and hold my crystal ball and say, if we stay on this path, first of all, there's a clear path in front of us, right? Right. If we stay on this path, will we be safe?
No. I've gone into binary mode from Tron. No.
Really? Okay.
Guys, can
You
we
want to ask another question?
Doesn't Estrov have those glasses?
well
I don't know.
let's take a few steps back, guys. Can we go back? Like Riff is kind of at the door, right? And Pierce
Yeah.
is back now. Can we back up from, like, I don't know, is Riff the only one along with Pierce that are very close to the door? Because what I want to do is have Riff back up like 10 feet from the door and see if it closes again.
It doesn't close. It
Guys,
waits.
I'm confused because it almost looks like we're just back out in the forest, or a forest maybe that we've been to before. I kind of thought we were climbing. We were actually going to come out somewhere inside the Mage's Tower. I don't know what you guys were expecting.
Me too.
I mean, if we just come back out in this forest again, we were already told there's no way to get up, I think, into the tower from out there. So, anyway.
The giant said we were supposed to go through the forest, facing many potential dangers, and that path would lead us to the tower.
Right, except that we wouldn't be starting in the tower, which is what I thought this whole maze was leading to. Somehow magically would let us into like the top of the tower or something like that.
Well, we do have the key. But you guys, when you went to the tower, you didn't see a door or anything, right?
Right. We didn't see one. Doesn't mean
But
there wasn't
remember,
one.
We're potentially coming from a different way, because we're coming from a different. I believe this to be a different. Actually, can I make an Arcana check to see if I would recognize whether or not we are on the same plane that we were?
Yep.
That's a 23.
Oh.
You are on the same plane. However, you are not at the same time.
Can I do a history check to see if I can more accurately ascertain what time we're in?
No, I will let you do a nature check.
I'm not good at that, but I'll try it.
Doesn't matter.
It's an 18 total.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys did at one point go from the small town of Tavalar towards the Mage's Tower, and you did a recon of sorts, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And you did see the edge of the surrounding part of the flooded forest that was adjacent to the tower.
Yes.
And what you saw was a endless bog of swampland with occasional dead trees. What you see now is a forest that looks like it's been flooded.
Oh, so it's not a swamp anymore.
No,
Or yet.
yet.
Or yet. Yeah.
I guess, guys, I was hoping that if we didn't go out quite yet and came back inside, we might be able to take a rest here before venturing out. But I kind of only wanted to do that if this door would close.
Hey, Estrov, do your glasses show you anything on this path?
Good question. Would Estrov's glasses show? The dainty spectacles of trust detection. Nope. He could try the magical diadem. Is this the path that we should be following? Yes, it would seem to be the path.
Durant, does your dad tell you anything about this?
It's a good question. does he?
Well, let's think about this. The wisdom of an aged father. I will let you choose between an insight or a perception check.
I'll go with insight. Am I rolling that, or are you?
You're going to make the roll, and based on what you roll, I'll tell you certain feedback or insight.
Okay, so that would be 20.
Dirty?
Yeah, dirty.
Okay. You get the sense that what Humphrey communicated with regard to his crystal ball is not untrue. That, in fact, it will be dangerous. But you also get the sense that this is literally the path. And that the fire giant did mention a winding road that would lead you to the tower. And it looks, at least for the 60 feet that you can see, it looks like there is a, kind of a gravelly path that leads through this flooded forest.
Well, everything is coming up that we should continue on the path.
Let's do it.
You guys okay going straight on, or how fatigued are you guys feeling? Got spells learned and all that ready to go?
So I need to know a couple things. Number one, marching order. Number two, who has dark vision or what you are using for illumination.
Riff has dark vision, and I'll go pretty much in the middle of the pack.
I don't have dark vision, but
It's
I have
nighttime
a
now?
spell.
It is nighttime, and there is a moon out. So you have, if you don't have dark vision, you could see 10 feet in front of you without any illumination.
Zuko's fine with his hit points and all that, but he can't see in the dark.
Durant also can't see in the dark.
All right, fine. Riff will walk just in front of Tuco.
I still have my dark vision spell. I mean, 8 hours. I don't think it was.
Yeah, but we
8
could take
hours.
a long rest and wait to go in the morning. The only thing is we'll be losing all those bonuses. Well, no, it's only another 8 hours, right? It's not going to be the full 24 hours.
Humphrey's all rested from one of those star fruits that he ate, so he doesn't need it. But if you guys need it, then so be it.
Yeah, I think we could just head on under the moonlight. Maybe it'll be safer at night anyway.
Okay, so Riff,
I mean,
Zuko has a lantern. I could light it, but that would also bring bad things. If people that can see in the dark want to just guide us along, that might be good as well.
okay, so Riff, Humphrey, Estroff, Durant, and Tuco.
Yeah, I'll bring up the rear just in case we get ambushed.
Durant is probably going to go toward the front to hopefully be a meat shield for somebody. So I don't know if Riff wants to put a hand on Durant's shoulder and maybe direct him from behind.
of course. Riff is excited to just have some more bonding time with his little brother.
Okay. So
Riff, you have the temporary bonus points. For
Yeah,
health.
yeah, that helps. I've got 32 temporary hit points, so for now I'm happy going up front.
Okay, so you guys begin walking down this path. You feel that you are literally outside, just like you would be in any normal world. You hear the sounds of the forest. You hear nocturnal insects and birds, chirps and crickets. You see that once you begin walking and you go into the flooded forest, Just off the path, it would seem that, despite the tree coverage being relatively dense, unlike what you remember seeing when you first scouted the Mage's Tower, this is a very dense forest, but that the floor is, in fact, flooded.
Real quick. Could Riff look
Behind
back to see if the door is closed or if he's there at all?
I will say that once you get about 30 feet away and you actually start going, I'll describe it to you. So when you walk out from the cave, it doesn't immediately close. You see that there's a small hill, and that this stone door is built into the hill, but that everything else around that area is the forest, for as far as you could see, the flooded forest. And the only thing leading from that door is, again, this crushed gravel kind of path that's raised just above the flood zone. So it's only a couple feet above the flood zone.
All right.
It's a hill.
Once you get about 30 feet away, the door will close.
So Tuca wants to go back and inspect the door.
You see no face on this side of the door.
And no keyhole or anything.
No.
Looks like we are stuck going forward, guys.
Maybe we're stuck in the past.
So
We shall see.
you guys follow the path?
Yep.
Continue forward.
Okay. You begin following the path. Like I said, it's, for all intents and purposes, it is just like a stroll through the woods at night, except the drop off from the path that you're walking on leads to a watery forest floor. And there is definitely a fog, like just the differential in the cool air and the water. So the water is, for as far out as you can see from the path that you're on, has like a fog over it. You begin following this path, and you are walking down this path for a significant amount of time. Like, nothing significant happens in the first hour, but you literally wind through this path over and over. It's, it'll go straight for a ways, and then it'll turn and wind, and then it'll go straight for a ways and turn and wind. And it's just kind of continuously winding back and forth through the woods. The trees all look old, like as if this forest has been here for centuries. And at no point, other than the path that you're on, at no point do you see anything that resembles like a man-made structure.
Didn't we meet a dryad the first time?
You did.
It's still around.
You did.
Didn't we make friends with it?
So, I have an idea, but it's going to require us standing still for a while. How do you feel about standing still for a little bit?
How long?
I don't suppose it's very long.
Where is Twig when we need him?
Well,
That's what I want to know.
Right?
I probably know his way around here.
Test kit.
I am going to cast, if people are okay with this, Sending, to see if I can reach out to the Dryad. My one concern is, because we seem to be in a different time, what will the Dryad be like in this time?
Well,
Eric,
are you saying all this to everybody?
Here's Eric once again breaking my game. That's okay. Carry on. I love a good challenge.
Okay, well, I'm going to cast Sending, if nobody else objects. And who wants to count my 25 words? Because I'm not counting.
All right.
We all will.
Okay. Hey, I don't know if you remember us, and you may not, but we could use some help finding our way through here.
23.
Please help.
I got 20.
Oh,
You say pretty please.
I was never good at math.
All right. I'm going to, for the benefit of those who enjoy this show and maybe don't know how sending works, I'm going to actually read this so that maybe later on it'll have even more of an impact on how you think about spells. So here's the literal description of the sending spell. You send a short message of 25 words or less to a creature with which you are familiar. So far, so good. The creature hears the message in its mind, recognizes you as the sender if it knows you, and can answer in a like manner immediately. The spell enables creatures with intelligence scores of at least 1 to understand the meaning of your message. Now here's the second and very short paragraph.
Yeah.
You can send the message across any distance and even to other planes of existence. But if the target is on a different plane than you, there's a 5% chance that the message doesn't arrive.
Right, because it could be in the Fae.
It could be in the past too. Would it even know us? If
Well,
it's in
that's
the
where
past.
that's the good
So-
philosophical question here. I mean, it's got to be a being outside of at least our time if it's going to remember us. I think.
But also time in the Feywild works differently, so who knows?
Okay, so here we go. You send this message and you're waiting. And you're waiting a little bit more. And then you hear this response, which I have to count to make sure I don't exceed the 25 word limit. If you are on the path, beware shadows. Get to the tower. Keys are important. Save our kind from the I only got 5 words left. All right, hold on a second.
Mage
Now I have
who
to make sure that
never dies.
this is something she would know, because maybe she wouldn't. So okay. So I said save our kind from the plans of the mage. That's it.
And I assume nobody else heard that, so
It's just you.
yeah, I will share that. So guys, avoid shadows. Keys are important. Hopefully we have all of them. And we need to save the Fae, apparently. So apparently we're not only champions of the King Who Sleeps, but also the champions of the Fae now.
So if shades are a problem, it's probably better that we're traveling at night and not having any light source. So we should probably make haste before daylight comes and starts throwing shadows.
Also, somebody very perceptive, just every now and then take a glance around, and if there's the moonlight, right? So we may have shadows, right, Bill? From the moonlight, or is that?
You have very, very faint shadows because of the moonlight.
Okay.
Very faint shadows.
So, you perceptive types, every now and then take a look and see if you see any shadows that don't seem to fit with what we are currently casting.
I guess we might want to count shadows too.
Not a bad idea.
Now, I want to be clear, you stopped to do this, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let me see. I will have Dave. Go ahead and roll a D8 and tell me what you roll. No bonuses, just roll and tell me.
Not Dave. He's had a terrible rolling night.
What?
3.
Okay. As you guys are discussing this, each one of you, you know what, Erik? What is your stupidly high passive perception again?
16.
Son of a bitch. All right. Good. Just roll initiative. You get attacked. I was going to attack you as a surprise attack, but you hear, just before this attack happens, you hear something in the trees next to the path moving. And you look up and you see 3 very small, absurdly looking mixtures of elves and goblins. They kind of look like elves, but they kind of look like goblins, and they're small, and they jump down from the trees with these little sickles to attack you. So let's all roll initiative.
17.
Ooh, Humphrey.
14.
Ooh, Tuco.
16.
Riff.
17.
Blast again.
Who's rolling for Estroff?
I rolled for Estroff.
Okay.
Estroff got a 12. And the Dems got a... Dwaho. Ooh!
We're going to get ambushed anyway.
We came all this way and we're going to get slaughtered by like tiny little creatures that normally we'd have no problem with.
All right. 3, 2 from one side, 1 from the other. 3 of these weird looking creatures. Actually, you know what? I'll let anyone with proficiency in Arcana make an Arcana check to see if you could determine what these weird things are.
23.
Okay. They're red caps. They are fey creatures, and you know that they're renowned to be murderous. Despite their small size, they are just brutally evil and murderous. And I rolled a nat 20 for their initiative roll. So I apologize in advance if your character dies. Just remember that death is part of life. All right. Fortunately for you guys, I rolled an 8, a 2, and a 15. So one of them is going to hit. The real question is who? And the victim this round will be Riff. Riff, of the 3 that drop out of the trees, what's your AC?
15.
Okay. 1 miss, 1 hit. You take 11 damage as a wicked sickle slices across you.
Does that hurt if I've got the temporary hit points buffer anyway?
No.
Like it's still...
Your temporary hit point buffer eats up a good chunk of that.
Yeah.
All right. And that is actually the end of their round, which brings us to Humphrey.
Okay. Can I time stop?
You can try. You're going to roll a d6 and tell me what the roll is.
Okay.
He sends us back to the time we first started at the tower.
6 is not a match. So your bonus action is blown. You cannot time stop this round.
Okay.
So you still have a move and a regular action.
Let's see what I can do. Then
Or
I'm-
2 moves if you want to cowardly run away from the red caps, because
It is
they're
my
terrifying
MO.
gremlins.
I'm wondering if I can. I mean, I could use that time-tested, major image and create a dragon behind. What would the Fae be afraid of? But yeah, I mean, it has to be something I've seen before, right?
Yeah.
Giant.
Yeah, I could do a giant. I've seen a cloud giant before,
You certainly have.
so let's try to do that. Can I do like a couple cloud giants next to me? Or just one? I'll do one.
I think you can. What I need to find out though is how that impacts them.
They don't care. We'll see. I'm eating the spiciest food right now, so my apologies.
Okay. You can create that. Now, are you trying to intimidate them with that?
I am. I'm trying to scare them away.
Okay. I'm going to have you make an intimidation check with advantage.
Okay.
Do better than Tuco did.
Plus one. Okay, here we go. Okay, we won't use that one. Let's try it one more time. Oh my god, I got a 4 and a 5.
Tuco rolls.
I'll use my inspiration. I have an inspiration. I want to give this one more shot.
Okay.
Oh my god, I got a 1. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. Okay.
So it's not that your illusion fails. It's just that they aren't intimidated by it. So it's still there. All right, Riff, you're up.
All right. Is there a way that I can line them up, get in a way where I can move to a position and use fairy fire on all 3 of them?
Yes.
Okay, can I do that?
Yes.
Let's do that. So I move to a way where it's just like, pew.
Do they get saves?
They get, oh gosh, I bet they're great at this. Dexterity saving throw.
Not as great as one might think. 3. A 21. Wow. It's random. And a 13. What's your spell save DC?
15.
Okay, so 2 of them make, or 2 of them fail, 1 makes.
Okay, so those 2 are outlined in green light. And yeah, so if we attack those guys, we get advantage, right?
Yeah. Good.
And then yeah, so that's all.
Okay. Durant, you were up. 2 of
How
these.
far? Yeah, how far away am I from one of the glowing ones?
5 feet.
Okay. And I'm still wearing the necklace and attuned, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to attempt to use the necklace's power on one of these that I can see. And then if that fails, I'm going to cast Inflict Wounds.
Describe how.
So I remember from using the necklace before, if I touched a creature, I could like read its emotions or something to that effect. And I'm sort of attempting to do that to see if I can determine its wants or desires or something actionable that we can use to get rid of it.
Ooh.
So I imagine I'd first have to try and touch it, and that probably is like a dex.
No, if that's your intention in your brain and Durant wants to do that, then I need to make a saving throw.
Okay.
And oddly enough, it's a charisma saving throw, which is not necessarily their strong suit. In fact, they have a minus. What's your spell save DC?
Spell save DC is 14.
Okay. He fails. You can You can make it indifferent instead of hostile. So you can make one of them not hostile towards you guys.
I'll do that.
Now understand that if someone attacks that one, it's not like dumbfounded, so it will attack back. So you basically clasp the necklace and reach out your hand, and before you even touch the thing, it stops, it lowers its sickle, and it kind of like, it looks at you, and it like smiles, and then it like looks at the rest of what's happening almost with curiosity as it watches like its other two comrades attacking the rest of your group.
Guys, don't hurt this one.
As Durant finishes saying that, Tuco, it is your turn.
So one of them was attacking Riff.
Right.
Was that one of the ones that's glowing, or the one that was just charmed?
There are two that are on the side where Riff and Durant are. One of them is outlined, but is also now just charmed, or not charmed, but pacified by Durant. The other one is not outlined and is attacking Riff. And then the third one that is outlined is the one that is in the back towards you and Estroff. So you have one closest to you who has an outline, who you would have advantage against, and is definitely aggressive and is definitely going to be attacking you.
Okay, I'll go against that one since Riff is there.
Okay.
I'm going to hold my bracers. I think I must attack and do damage on these guys to be able to save my party. And I'm gonna run up and attack that guy.
Okay. Go ahead and attack. You have advantage on both attacks.
14 plus 7, no, plus 8, 22.
That's a hit.
An advantage. 2, that's good. 17, 24. Yeah, 17. So 2 hits.
Okay, damage.
So Scimitar is 1d6 plus 5. 3, 8. And then short sword, 1d6 plus 4. 18 points of damage.
Total?
Yep.
Okay. That brings us to Estroff. Shillelagh. Whoosh. 14 plus 4. That's a hit. The Shillelagh. 4 plus 3 is 7, and he will also add on some damage to the one that you hit. An additional 7. Which brings us back around to the top of the order. So I am making 2 attack rolls. One of them is the aggressive guy that is on the front line. And that is a 1 and a 6, which is a miss. The second one is dumbfounded and just smiling at Durant. And the third one is the one that is closest to Tuco and Estroff. And he is pissed off and he hits Tuco and possibly Estroff. Let me look up Estroff's armor class because I feel like it is not good. If I'm not mistaken, Estroff does not have an incredibly good armor class. Estroff? Yeah, that's a hit, unfortunately, on Estroff. So Tuco.
He's a 20 armor class with his bracers.
Yeah, I rolled a nat 20. So they have a plus 6 to hit. So he hit you. So you are going to take 19 damage. Estroff is going to take 8 damage. And that brings us to top of the order, Riff. You're up.
All right. Okay. Somehow I thought Durant was in front of Riff, but no. All right. Riff is going to get his longbow out and fire on the one that just hit Tuco and Estroff.
Just to be clear, there's one that you would be right in front of you and would get an attack of opportunity on you.
Oh, okay. I wasn't seeing this right because I wasn't exactly sure where I moved when I said I need to move to where I can get the 3 of them in the fairy fire. So I didn't know.
So you
if that
were
moved me away at all.
You were kind of up close to Humphrey and Durant. Durant pacified one of them, but the other aggressive one is between you and Humphrey. And then the third one, who's still aggressive, is by Riff and Estroff.
Okay, let's see.
So you'd need to do a melee, unless you want an attack of opportunity.
Well, here's what I want to do. If I can do this on myself, is use, in place of Bardic Inspiration, use my Mantle of Inspiration, which would let me move without provoking an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
And so that's a bonus action.
Got it.
And then move out like, move my full movement speed as much as I can, like 30 feet away, I guess, away from him and towards where I can get a good shot at the other guy that has already been wounded and has wounded our guys. And then take a shot with Mom's longbow.
Okay. Fire away.
Hit me with your best shot. 9 + 6, 15.
Hit.
Sweet. That is 9 damage plus whatever, if there's extra that you haven't told me what that bow does yet, which you were doing last time.
9 damage is good. All right. Humphrey, may the power of music compel you.
Firebolt, I guess.
Fire away.
Okay. 16.
That's a hit. Damage. I assume.
I'm sorry. Crap. My bad.
I assume you're blasting the same one that.
Yeah.
That
I did this. I did this out of order. I'm sorry. I got excited. That would be my damage if I hit, which would. Let's see if I hit. Which is 17 plus whatever I have on it.
Yep.
Okay, so that it's 16 damage.
All right. That is a solid blast. Durant. So you have a indifferent red cap.
Yeah, I'm just. Would it be a bonus action or an action to feed it a ration?
I will say it's an action.
Then I'm not going to feed it.
Okay.
Instead, I'm going to cast Sanctuary on Riff.
Duly noted. Okay, Tuco.
Okay, I'm gonna attack the guy that's wounded.
All right.
Do I have advantage again?
You still do, yeah. He's still lit up.
16, 21.
That's a hit.
And 26.
2 hits. What's our damage?
So first one, 65, 10 plus 10, 20 points of damage.
You begin to get into the groove, and it's been a while since you've had the opportunity to wield both of the blades, but it comes back to you in that kinesthetic memory as you begin to kind of whirl around your enemy, and you use the pain that you just took from the attack, and you spin around, cutting and then spinning immediately and whipping around and using that momentum to cut again into this opponent. And as you hit the second cut, the red cap falls back and his sickle flies through the air, and you hear it splash into the water of the flooded forest, and he hits the ground in a thump.
I flip the blade, get the blood off of it, and then start looking at the next hostile guy.
And
You're next.
Astroff, picking up the rear, is going to use, since he's now at a range, he's going to use a vine spins from his hand and wraps around the red cap, doing not a lot of damage, 3 hit points of damage, but pulls him to the ground. So now the aggressive one that was right in between Riff and Humphrey is now on the ground, and he skids 5 feet across the gravel as Estroff was able to pull him. And that brings us back to the top. That guy is angry now because now I have to. He cuts the vine and he stands up. That's all he does. Which brings us back to Riff.
And this guy is the unhighlighted one.
Yeah, he's wounded between
Okay.
your arrow and the blast from Humphrey. He's wounded, but he still looks pretty healthy.
And this is still the guy that is highlighted by Fairy Fire, or no?
No, he's not.
Okay, this guy's not.
The one that's highlighted by Fairy Fire is the one that Tuco just finished off.
Destroyed, right.
And then the other one that's highlighted by Fairy Fire is the one who's like passively watching and hanging out with Durant.
Right, his eating buddy, apparently.
Durant's bitch,
Right.
basically.
So,
So the last aggressive red cap is the one that's now currently between you,
okay.
Tuco, and Astroff.
All right, so firing with the bow, longbow again, trying to get to know that thing. It's 25 to hit.
That is a huge hit. Go ahead.
8 damage before whatever extra bonuses come with that bow.
Okay. He's still up. Go ahead, Humphrey.
Firebolt. Let's do this. See if I can roll the hit. 14 plus 6 is 20.
Hit.
And then 2d10. 18.
Oh. All right.
I love Fireball. It's a cantrip. I still can't believe it.
This red cap, furious, like almost foaming at the mouth, right? Gets hit by this powerful arrow from Riff and spins. And as he spins, you blast him with a firebolt. And the firebolt burns his facial hair off and blows him back 5 feet. And he splashes into the water of the flooded forest. And you see his body just floating in the water. And he is quite dead.
Cool.
Nice.
The remnants of his mustache and his cap just smoldering from the blast. The third, or technically second red cap he's still just just calmly watching this. And he's like standing by Durant. Durant, you're up.
What are you gonna do with your pet, Durant?
I'm gonna tell him, go now, return to whence you came. Tell your friends, if they don't attack, we won't attack.
You know what? Make a persuasion roll with advantage. It was very fair and fairly worded, diplomatically worded.
Persuasion's not my thing. I rolled a 14 and a 13, so that would be a 13.
Okay. He nods. He's like, ah. He slings his sickle and he does a running jump up to the closest large tree, and he starts climbing up the tree. When he gets to about the 20 feet up point into the tree, you see him like go over to a hollow, almost like what you'd see like squirrels go into, and he just kind of goes into the hollow. And then it's back to the normal nocturnal sounds of a forest.
I think stopping is not a good idea. Let's move.
Agreed.
Okay.
And were the shadows we were supposed to be afraid of redcap shadows or different shadows?
I think we just dodge all shadows.
Yeah.
Like
We'll
we
stick
do
with
this
that.
weird choreography, and it almost looks like, music video dancing down the gravel pathway.
Let's
So point,
Jaw.
just to be clear, I want to make sure that I understand the marching order. So Riff, you have dark vision.
Yes.
Durant has like a hand on your shoulder. He's, or not even really hand on your shoulder, but because you can see the people without dark vision can see 10 feet in front of you. So Durant's following Riff. Riff is leading the way. Humphrey is right behind Durant. Estroff is right behind Humphrey. Tuco's following Estroff. So you guys proceed down the path in this order?
Sure, why
Let's
not?
jog.
Okay. You continue. The path continues. Again, just, about 3 or 4 feet above the flood line. And you guys can continue through this forest as it winds down the road. At any point, do you guys stop, rest, eat food, go for a swim in the water?
Does sound appealing, but I think I'll pass.
Definitely not.
Does anyone
that
want
much.
to drink the water from the flooded forest?
What's the worst that could happen?
I mean, technically I can purify it, so
I mean, just
No.
technically, I want to make sure that you guys know that I'm not railroading you. So if at any point you guys want to like go swim in the flooded forest, or see if you can make like a tree swing, I don't want you to feel like you're being railroaded here. Like
Maybe
that's
have
only
Peter,
one option.
fly ahead of us again.
Yeah, you could do anything you want.
We'll do Liam's tiny hut and just camp out for a bit.
Yeah.
I think
Want to take a long rest and wait till morning?
we should groove on down the road like we've been doing.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. You continue winding down the road. And after 6 hours, the moon has changed its position in the sky. You don't see the sun coming up. It's not quite dawn. But you feel like you've been walking for a long time down this road. And you see a light up ahead. Now, when I say a light up ahead, you have to understand that the path winds in a serpentine sort of fashion. So you could see a light through the trees further up, about 90 to 120 feet away. And it's a soft, warm, glowing light. Not like the moonlight. It's almost like a golden kind of light. But it's not flickering like a campfire would be. Do you understand what I mean?
Absolutely not.
A consistent, warm light source through the trees.
Okay.
I get close to Durant and I say, if I could see better than dark, I'd go ahead and scout out, but I can't. Can your Pierce see in the dark?
no, Pierce cannot see in the dark.
You need to get eyes on whatever's up there.
I have a familiar too. I've just never used it.
Or invisibility, or stopping time.
I could do that. I could do in. Well, I don't know if I want to. Part of visibility. I got a feeling. Here's my concern: is we're gonna get to the mage tower, and I'm gonna want all my freaking spell slots. And so, sure. Why don't I stop time? I'll give it a shot. Let me stop time and try to get up there.
Roll a d6.
Watch out for cages, Humphrey.
I know. I don't remember having to roll d6s in the past. I think something's changed. Roll.
Well,
d6.
We're not in the king's realm anymore.
Yeah, we're in the past.
True. 2. Not my day.
No.
Yep. Then I guess. Oh,
Tell me what you would do. Tell me what you would do if you could stop time.
If I could stop, so how far ahead of this do I perceive it to be?
About 120 feet.
If I could stop time, I would follow the path and walk up to see if I can see something.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens.
Okay.
You freeze?
Everybody else is frozen.
I didn't say anything about anybody else. You stop time. You walk up the path. You see someone sitting next to a campfire that's right in the middle of the path. And it looks like maybe a woman because her back is to you. She's just wearing like a green cloak and she has like long flowing blonde golden hair.
Oh, can I do an arcana to see if this is like a hag?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. I got that's whatever I have. Which is gonna be like, yeah, it's 16.
16. You're not really sure.
Okay. Is there anything else I could do around like investigation or perception that might?
Sure. I mean, it doesn't look like a scary hag. It doesn't look like the body is weird. Looks like a normal, like, human female.
Well, I mean, so time has stopped, so nobody's perceiving that I'm aware of my existence.
Right. And the fire isn't flickering. Like time has stopped. There's light, but it's frozen in time.
Okay, can I get closer to investigate?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to get closer just to see if anything's like off or a bunch of children's heads that are casually laying around, or
you don't
I don't
see
know.
anything like that. As you get closer to the side. You see a basket with like some bread. And you see like almost like a little like camp dinner, you know what I mean? There's like a loaf of bread in this basket, and there's some fruit, and some carrots, and over the fire is like a kettle, and it looks like there's like a broth with some vegetables and stuff in there that's cooking.
So is this? I'm sorry, maybe I missed the start. Is there like a hut as well?
No,
or it's just a lady in a campfire?
It's literally just a lady at a campfire with, a kind of like a tripod and, over the campfire,
Yeah.
and a kettle, and she's, there's like a spoon and there's a basket with food.
Any weapons that I perceive?
Not perceive any weapons.
Indications that this person is magical or magically inclined? Anything that would give that away?
You feel like there's magic, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, my spidey senses are tingling, which I'll go back to the group in a second to tell them. But like,
You feel like there's
why is
magic
this random old woman?
I didn't say old. You did.
Oh, okay. I thought.
But as you come around the corner, she looks like an old woman.
Okay. Well, back to the team.
Like a grandmother,
Yeah.
All right, you go back.
Oh, well, before we do that, is there any obvious way to avoid interacting with her? Or is she
Oh
right
yeah,
on the path?
you could just go. I mean, you could get off the path and go into the water and go around the entire
Yeah, that sounds
area.
safe. Oh, yeah.
Or,
Okay,
what's another way that you could avoid this entire situation that
we
you
could
know
fly.
of? You could fly.
Right. That's fair. Okay, I'll bring it back to the team. Okay, so
You guys
walking
all
back-
see this. You all see this warm glow, but it's not flickering like a firefly, like a campfire would. And suddenly, Humphrey says, "What do you say?"
So, guys, I was able to do a little time stop to do some investigation here, and there's a woman. She looks old, and she's just looks like she's cooking a meal for herself. Like, no weapons, no nothing. Something seems off from the perspective of what is some rando doing out here by themselves. I don't get good vibes from this, but I have nothing that's saying, only that she's out of place, but nothing that says that indication of any other hostility. But I still would advise that we interact.
What kind of woman? Did she have like round ears, pointy ears? Did she have any ears at all?
Her ears, and Bill, correct me if I'm wrong,
Like
but her
human?
ears were covered by her hair,
Yes.
so I didn't get to see.
Did we see Humphrey go up there?
Nope. Nothing that he said is what you perceive. You guys were literally walking up. You all kind of saw this warm, glowing light up ahead, and then he just busted out with this speech.
How far away are we again?
120 feet.
Humphrey, did you see any shadows being cast from the fire?
Yes.
I did.
How much risk do you guys think it is if we get within 60 feet?
Look, I can't imagine anybody, any little old lady out here that is by herself, you know, who's unguarded, So I would treat her like any other thing that we might come across. I would imagine.
Everyone make a perception check.
Okay.
It's higher than my passive.
Yep.
8?
Natural 1.
20, not natural.
Yeah, I'm dirty 20 as well.
Cool. As you're discussing this, someone walks up from behind you. Who is in the back? Tuco, Estroff, Humphrey, Durant, Riff. Okay, so Tuco, Humphrey, you're kind of in the middle, and you're explaining all this stuff to the group, and you're, everyone's kind of considering what's going on. Tuco, someone taps you on the shoulder, and you turn around and you see a woman.
Long-haired woman?
Yeah, she has long hair. It's blonde.
Is she armed or anything?
No. She
Weapons?
looks she looks she looks kind of familiar to you. When you were in Sendrin studying with your master, you were one of the very few humans who was kind of embraced by the elves of that area. But you remember a rather matronly elf with blonde hair, and you remember she was skilled in the arts of healing. And the woman that you see next to you looks a lot like her. Like her, you could tell that she has elf ears. They're pointed because her blonde hair is like tucked kind of behind her ears and then flows down her shoulders and stuff. And she has like a warm, welcoming smile. She just like looks at you and she smiles.
So in common, I'm going to say to everyone, guys, we have company. And then I'm going
You
to turn
all-
to her.
You all turn and see this woman, and
And I'm
she's
gonna turn to her
exactly as I described to Tuco.
in Elvish and say, well met.
And she says, "Well met to you. Well met to you indeed, and to all of you." And she says to all of you in common.
So, ma'am, why
Are you cold from your walk through the forest? Would you like to have a rest and perhaps warm yourself by the fire? And she gestures up ahead.
At this point,
stop. Okay.
I'm feeling uneasy about this. I think I'd like to insight check.
Seems like a bad idea.
Do I even need to insight check this, guys?
Not to me.
Never heard.
No, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I am gonna cast Protection from Good and Evil on Tuco.
Okay. And what impact does that have?
So protection from good and evil. Until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against certain types of creatures. Aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. The protection grants several benefits. Creatures of those types have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target. The target also can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. If the target is already charmed, frightened, or possessed, the target has advantage on any new saving throws against the relevant effect.
Okay. I just chatted you what you should do. You cast that spell. Tuco, you see this kind-looking, matronly elf woman. Anyone else have any concerns or actions that you'd like to?
I'd like to throw the bullshit flag. I don't know if any actions. I just think this is super suspect.
I'm going to say, kind lady, we appreciate your care and consideration, but our experience is when we stop, bad things happen. Respectfully, we'd like to continue on and suggest that you be careful as well.
She says, "Oh, are you concerned about my welfare?" She's like, "That's so kind and thoughtful." She's like, you needn't fear me. I am here to reassure those who may have concerns about this path. Make no mistake that where you go is very dangerous. To be certain, it is a very dangerous place. But I assume that your quest is not to help the mage, but to stop him. Yes?
Yes.
You are skilled. I recognize that symbol. And I point to the symbol around her neck.
She looks down and she's like, "Ah, yes. Well, it is not hubris. I simply wear it so that people understand the truth." She says, I would welcome you if you wish, but I understand if you wish not to linger too long." She says, "Nonetheless, if it is your intent to go to the tower, then you must walk that way anyway. So I'll walk with you for a spell."
Can you grant our safety for a time?
She says, I can. Follow me." And she walks, and as you guys walk, 120 feet later, you appear at a campfire, and there's a pot, and she's like, "One moment." She gets her big spoon and she kind of stirs it up, and she takes a little bit and smells it and takes a sip, and she's like, "Oh, it's so good." She's like, "Are you sure that you don't want any before you continue along? Have you eaten recently?"
Durant is going to take the first step here because he trusts her at this point. And it's clear from his body language that he absolutely trusts her. So he's going to attempt to eat of this.
This is so bad. I want to stop him. So what are you doing?
Well, that symbol around her neck is one that we can trust.
Can't anybody just wear a symbol?
Not with meaning.
You see, she smiles and she looks at Humphrey and she says, You are perceptive. She says, but your concern this time is unnecessary. I can be trusted. She says,
okay.
And she looks at all of you and she says, you all know me. And when she says this, each one of you perceive her for a flash, for a split second, as a female figure from your life who you absolutely trust.
Uh-oh.
She doesn't change for Tuco. For Durant, she becomes your mother. For Riff, she probably becomes a Curie. For Humphrey, she becomes your fourth period enchantment teacher from the Academy of Magic.
Yes.
Only,
oh man, she was so hot.
The only teacher who you simultaneously had a crush on, and also who you felt like you really learned a lot from.
Very conflicted.
For Astroff, she appears to be grandmother, without doubt. And just for this split second, she appears in all of these different forms when she says that she is someone that you can trust.
Okay.
Well,
and she says, but have no fear. She says, here, Durant. And she ladles a bowl for you and hands it to you. And she breaks off a chunk of bread and hands it to you. And she says, you all have traveled far.
Hey, question. Do I have enough wherewithal to be able to consult my crystal ball and ask if the person can be trusted?
Yes, absolutely. Make a D6 roll.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I'm going to dig into the stew.
Well, I'm trying to... I guess 1.
A 1?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Crystal ball binarily tells you that she can be trusted.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to start chowing down.
Durant, you chow down. You immediately regain all spell slots and all hit points.
What?
Humphrey, you chow down. You immediately regain all spell slots and all hit points.
Okay.
Astroff does anyway, because Astroff is Astroff. So he eats the bowl and he pours himself some of his own wine and he feels great. She looks at Tuco and she says,
I'm waiting.
She says, it's okay. You were wounded. You fought the Redcaps. You should have some stew.
I'll wait for dessert.
She's like, oh, there's no dessert here. She's like, this is all I have. I suppose I can make dessert, but that's not really the point, is it? It could be stew or it could be something else. And she waves her hands over the stew and she reaches into the big pot and she pulls out an apple pie and she hands it to Tuco. And she goes, there's your dessert.
Do you have a name, lady?
You know my name. You know me. She looks at Durant and she's like, you already told your friends.
I trust you. I trust the necklace. I know what the necklace means.
She says, well, that's how you know me.
You are the mother, then?
Yes. Some know me as the mother. I will say that I am a lady that you all know.
I'm going to say this. seems to be very powerful, and I want to save it for later. I appreciate it, and I'm going to put the pie in my pack.
You can. She looks back one more time, and she says, "Why so quiet, Arik?"
Arik says, "Yes, Your Majesty, please can I have some of this stew? It looks delicious. I want it as you presented it."
She hands a bowl to you. She says, "Now, all of you are in much better spirits. You are fully healed. You know where you were going. You know that it's dangerous. I cannot give you any other blessings because this place is different. He figured out a way to keep us out."
Who is he?
The mage. In time you will come to know him as the Undying Mage, but now he is just the mage. But his tower is that way. And when she points, you see imagine a lightsaber level of laser pointer. Except she points and it's white light, just a beam, a perfect beam of white light blasts through the darkness of the night, and she points. And when you guys follow this beam, first of all, you're almost blinded, but your irises adjust, and in the distance, and I mean like a half mile away, on the horizon, you see a lone tower rising through the forest.
Is it along the path?
Well,
As you can see.
the path winds, remember?
Yeah.
But she points, and her finger shoots this blinding white light out. And she says, "We cannot penetrate it, but you can. There's still time. There's still time to change what will happen. Others have tried, some have failed.
Did
But
the
I
others
want
who
to show you."
failed-
She says, "I want to show you." And she points as this beam of white light illuminates the tower far in the distance. And she says, "There is still time." And she says, "It is possible that you will succeed where others have failed." And she holds her hand out. And as she changes from pointing to holding her hand out towards you, you see a warm ball, an orb of glowing golden light. And she hands it to Riff.
What is it?
Do you take it?
Yeah, I slowly kind of go to it and try to tell if there's any sensation coming off of like heat or cold before I touch it.
Well, heat, like painful heat? No. Warmth? Yes. Just like comfortable warmth. And not just warmth like physically, emotionally warm. Like happiness. Like hope.
Yeah, Rip takes it and he asks, "Is this another key that we would need to get through the tower?" We hear there's many keys needed.
As you look at the golden orb, you see a weird like image almost form in this orb.
Of what?
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy. Not my strong suit. It's just 13, no bonuses.
You see an image of a key, but you can't quite make out the exact particulars of the key in this golden orb. And she says, keep it with you, that you may remember how everything still turns to gold. And she smiles and she says, the tower awaits you. The mage is there. Remember everything that you have learned. And she looks at all of you as she says that. Remember everything that you have learned.
Honored one, the form that you present to me is one that was close to my master. And when we spoke with the king that sleeps, he said that Master Lotran was changed to protect the tower. Do you know what awaits? I would like to protect him, but we must finish our mission. I'd like to save him.
You will save him if you achieve your mission. She smiles. That has not happened yet.
One last thing. Have you heard of Alyssa Hanaduthis?
Shoot. Here.
She looks at you and she says, you know that there will come a time, Durant, when that which you seek may haunt you.
It's haunting the rest of us.
Well taken. I will remember your message.
She says, you, servant of Denir, most of all, must remember that sometimes knowledge is too great for the mind of a mortal. Take heed, Durant. The mage sought knowledge. The mage was not satisfied with that which he could consume in his mortal life. And it is for that reason that he sought immortality. Do not fall or succumb to the same temptations as the mage.
I will not fall into knowledge for only myself. My knowledge is for all humankind.
Prove it.
Elven.
Should you live, prove it. And thank your God for the knowledge he has granted you.
I think we should not tarry much longer.
Yes.
Bad things happen in the night. Thank
She
you
says,
for...
nothing will happen while you are with me, Tuko Musashi of Sendrin.
How far will you walk with us, lady?
No further. I have shown you, through my white light, and through the orb. You have hope, you have rest, you have your strength. What lies ahead must be a challenge of your mind and your heart. She says, I truly wish you all rich and full lives. But what lies beyond and inside of that tower, I have no domain over.
We also heard that we would need.
The Sleeping King gave you gifts. And the Sleeping King sent you here for a reason. Do not forget all that you know.
We have also met people from the Fae that is also in danger. What is happening there, and how can we protect it?
She said, what will happen to this place should you fail is that the mage's dominion over this land will grow and Sylvanus's connection to it will fade.
Can you tell us anything of the master? Do you know who I speak of? Do we need to fear him in our mission? Is he going to try to sabotage us if he's caught on to what our plans are? I'm sure you seem to know all what we mean to do with him.
If you succeed, the master will not exist.
Gotcha.
The master only exists because the mage who never dies allowed the master to cross over, provided a gateway for the master to cross over. We would never allow such a thing. There are certain agreements.
Those who came before us, did they bear your blessing as well?
They did. They failed, though, ironically, when it came to the matter of the keys.
How did they fail?
I do not know, for that which is inside the tower is outside of my domain. I only know that they did not succeed with regard to the keys.
Did they get into the tower?
Did they enter the tower? Yes.
So there are other keys required after entering the tower.
Did they ever leave the tower? No.
Maybe
So
their
we
bodies.
have one of the keys needed. How can we find the other keys?
You will
Maybe
find them
they're-
in the tower. It is not the finding of them that is difficult. It is the knowing of them.
How do we know them?
I don't think she's going to know the answer to that, Tuco. She does
do
not
not.
have visibility into the tower.
We cannot see into the tower. When he designed it, he made it in this fashion.
Magic that gods can't penetrate is unfathomable to me.
He is a rather impressive student of magic. But if he succeeds, he will become the Undying Mage.
So all of this was to bring us here at this time so that we might have a chance to prevent that which is destined or has already happened in what we know.
It is difficult for most mortal minds to accept.
I think that
It is why we acted through the sleeping king. His dreams transcend time.
Is it possible for the keys to have a form other than a key, say a hammer?
No. The keys will be keys. They are real. They're physical things. The mage created them so that his minions could come and go as they needed.
So the keys let us out of the tower, as well as...
She says, curiously, you have a hammer?
Yes, that hammer was given to me by the king who never sleeps. Or that's right.
Nothing was given to any of you.
Whoa.
She says, nothing was given to any of you. Say that again. You have a hammer.
I have a hammer, and I was told that I can use this hammer to defeat the mage who never dies.
She says, how did you get this hammer?
I asked politely.
Nothing was given to you.
We took our gifts.
Yes, you did.
We chose them.
You chose them. They were always there. And you simply took them. Remember this.
Oh.
Another
the
group
party-
forgot. They
So
did
they were-
not leave the tower.
They chose gifts as well.
She nods.
If we come across them, can we choose their gifts as well?
You will not come across them now. They come much later than now. But before, when you discovered this. You are many centuries before. Right now. You are many centuries before.
If we succeed, the world we know won't exist, not in the same form.
She smiles and she says, the light of Denier shines upon your mind.
But if we fail, could the king that sleeps send another party back in time as well?
No. She says, if you fail, the king who sleeps will not be asleep anymore. He will be the king who died. The mage will take his power permanently. It is the dream that the mage seeks. If the mage acquires the king's power, then he can open up any gate he wishes. She says, I'm curious. Did you already forget? She looks around at all of you guys. She says, do you not remember?
I think our silence is fairly telling. I assume we've
You remember
failed
the
in this
tune.
endeavor before.
You remember the tune, do you not?
Yes, I was about to ask you if that's going to be helpful to us at some point in the tower.
In the tower? I don't know. But will it be helpful?
Griff, can you still play it? Do you still remember it?
I do remember it. I don't play it very well the last time. I'd be happy to try now.
She
Maybe
says,
this wise one could give you some hints.
she holds up her fingers and she says, not here. You do not wish to let the mage know that you are coming. But if you listen, you can hear. Listen to the forests. All of you make perception checks.
$13.
8.
18.
15.
Everybody who got a 15 or higher, you hear faintly laughter echoing throughout the forest. She says, remember all that you have learned. Remember everything that you have known. Remember why you go to where you go. She looks at Riff and she says, listen. And when the time is right, remember the tune.
I will.
She points again, and again, the blinding white light shoots out of her finger and illuminates the tower in the distance, like an epic Batman-level spotlight. And she says, I will wait here. Walk the path. It is still night. You need not fear the shadow demons. They will not come to you. Not while I am here.
Thank you.
She looks at Humphrey and she says, you were quite close to summoning them, you know. They can smell fear.
Well, I'm glad you're here then.
She says, go. We hope that you succeed.
Griff bows to her. Thank you, dear lady. We will heed your words.
She smiles.
Thanks. Okay, let's go.
I'll bring up the rear as we leave.
Okay. You guys,
Durant is going to take one last look back.
you look back. Her appearance has changed slightly. She has like long gray hair now, and she doesn't have pointy ears anymore. But she's still the same person. You know that the essence of her is still the same person, and she smiles at you.
And when we get just out of sight, I want to look into my pack and see if the pie is still there.
It is.
That was actually really smart.
You guys wind down the road. Like it continues. The only difference is that you could see the tower in the distance because she has a beam of white light blasting on it.
Is he not going to know we're coming when there's a spotlight shining through his windows?
Well, here's the funny thing. As you get closer, now I'm saying like you guys get within 120 feet. The path no longer winds, and it arrives at the island of land upon which the tower is built. And you realize that you are coming at it from the opposite side of where you guys originally reconned it in your own timeline. So to give you some perspective directionally speaking, Many episodes ago, you guys walked up a path from Tavalar to the Mage's Tower, from the south to the north. You got to the tower, and past the tower to the north, in all directions, was the flooded forest. You guys are coming from the north to the northern side of the tower. So you're coming from the opposite end right now. And it's totally different. Just forest as far as you could see. Flooded, but forest, not a swamp.
Did you guys reconnoiter, go around the tower at all?
Yes. And you basically recognize where you are, but it's clearly a different time, because instead of being a desolate swamp, it's a very nice old forest that has been flooded. You see, once you guys get to this clearing, that her light goes from this pure white light to kind of a golden light, and then it fades. And you see the tower is illuminated. And as the sun rises in the east, you can see the tower, you can see the clearing that you guys are at. And just like when you originally reconnoitered the tower, you do not see any doorways at the ground level. You see the top of the tower, you see these open kind of windows around the top of the tower, but there are no doors. You're about 120 feet away from the tower. What would you like to do?
There's no doors.
There
Is
were
there-
no doors in our
Do you
own.
want to send Pierce around it again?
I mean, I can, but Pierce won't see much. It's dark still.
No, it's light. The sun rose, I think.
Did it?
Thought.
It is dawn, and you have enough light to see dimly. Do you send Pierce?
Sure, I'll send Pierce to fly around.
Okay, Pierce flies up to the top. Pierce goes into the top and says, "There's a landing up here. There's bird poop.
Add to that, please.
There's a wooden trapdoor
There's lots of
Oh, trapdoor.
and some kind of hole for maybe a key."
Guess we enter top down.
What can be used to do this?
Do we have that amulet or something that let us fly? Or some of
Yeah.
us fly?
Yes, Rip has that, and I think Humphrey also can cast fly if we don't have enough charges.
Correct. That would be a good plan. So let's try using that on everybody. And
Hang on. Would Tensor's floating disc follow me if I were flying?
I don't.
yeah. Come on.
I don't know how far Tensor's floating disc will follow me up. It might also be fairly slow comparatively.
I'm quite happy to share flying charges from the amulet. I have a feeling flying won't be so much necessary once we're inside the tower, although I could be dead wrong.
It can hold up to 500 pounds.
Yes, fireball.
Is it
It can't cross an elevation change of more than 10 feet.
Rip.
So
is there open ground around the tower, or does the forest go up there?
No, it's a clearing of about a 60-foot radius that
I mean-
that the tower is on, where it's just open ground.
Is there any way I could sneak up to it?
Yeah, make a stealth check.
I'm gonna go up and see if I can scout around it.
I mean, there's no door on the bottom level, so we have to go up.
I mean, can I just fly and then drag her and hang down a rope?
Yeah.
Is there a way to stealthily fly?
Hold
I
on.
can do it. I can cast invisible.
So,
and then I can
Tuco,
fly.
what'd you get for stealth?
29.
Holy
Okay.
moly!
You're there. You're at
So-
the edge. You see the stonework. Stonework of the tower is perfectly symmetrical. Like, you have seen buildings in towns. You've even seen like castles and walls and keeps. You know, there's some human error, right? Like where maybe the masonry here is just, you know, a little bit off, or the size of the stone's not perfect. This is, when I say perfect, mathematically incredibly uncannily perfect.
So I want to look for any kind of doors, any kind of secret openings.
Make an investigation check.
Did we make it here in time for Durin's day? Anyone hear a thrush knocking?
Maybe.
19.
19. You don't see any doors at all, but you do see a keyhole.
Where's the keyhole? Is it in the tower?
It's just literally in what between two of the stones.
Does
at
it
about
look
waist at about waist level.
like the key that I have would fit into it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I want to kind of whistle or something back to the other guys to come on up.
That will blow your 29 stealth roll, but okay. You do. You guys hear a whistle. Like,
Durant is going to stealth toward Tuco. And this is going to be funny.
you fail.
I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's an 8.
It is the worst.
Okay.
You step on a stick, and the stick cracks in half and makes a loud snapping noise that reverberates around the absolute silence in the area. But you do arrive at Tuco, and you see Tuco standing there with a key in one hand and his finger pointing at a hole in the wall in the other.
I don't know if this is correct. Remember, we've been told to treat keys carefully.
We need to get us all here. I want everyone to be able to see, and so that we can make the right choice.
Can I make an Arcana check on the lock?
Yes.
That is a 28.
It is magical. But then again, so is the key that Tuco has.
But no insight into the magic behind it.
It is lock related.
No.
Okay.
I look for traps.
Okay. Investigation check.
Investigation. Ugh. 15.
You do not find any traps.
Are any of the rest of us close enough to know what's going on over there?
Yes.
Okay.
1 second. You had a what roll for your Arcana check?
It was a 19 natural for a 28.
Okay, that's more than sufficient. The school of magic is conjuration.
So very probably sticking the key into this lock will either conjure a door or conjure something to kill us.
Or the keyhole was conjured as to make it look like the right keyhole. Or would that be more like illusion school?
I think that'd
Sounds
be
like
more
illusion.
illusion.
Well,
Either way, I think this keyhole is too obvious.
yeah, I was gonna say, shouldn't we at least check out the keyhole that we believe is up top that Pierce saw, and if
Griff.
it would also fit this key?
The old lady gave you that glowing thing that had something with the key, right? Does it look familiar at all?
I mean, I asked her about keys when I was holding it, and then I thought I almost saw an image of some kind of key, but it wasn't completely clear. I'm not sure if this is an orb of divination like Humphrey has or what, but
Can I use my orb just to say, is this the right keyhole?
Sure, roll a d6.
Oh, you and your D6s. Used to be cool, man. 6.
I mean, there's a 1 in 3 chance that it'll still be cool.
I go at 6.
Hold on. Lucky number 6.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Okay, I share that information.
The crystal ball enthusiastically tells you that this is a yes.
Okay. There you go, guys.
guess we're going in the front door.
Riff, again, can you look with that thing that the lady gave you? Has anything changed? Any possibility it would go into the hole? Keyhole?
Riff takes the orbs out and looks at it, investigates as much as he can, and asks, what key should fit this lock here where we're standing?
Number 1 is what comes up.
Number 1.
You
Does that
see
mean
an
anything to
image.
us?
You see an image of a skeleton key, and do you compare it to the one that Tuco holding?
Yes. Hey, Tuco, show me your key. I'm looking at him.
Okay. I will show you. I will show all of you now what that looks like. Or I won't. Hold on one second.
Emotional roller coaster.
I know it's extremely. Let me see if Zoom can handle this. There we go. Zoom.
Ooh.
You see that key, and you look at Tuco's key, and it looks exactly like that key.
Okay, we seem to have a match here, guys. I guess if there's any question, the question would be, it would have to be more sinister magic that you use a perfectly matched key, and maybe it's still meant for the lock above and bad things would happen. But in terms of, I guess, forensic evidence or whatever you want to call it, this seems to be a good fit.
Sent it to Snopes.
This is not my strong suit, making these kind of decisions.
And I say the crystal ball says that this is right, so let's do it.
It said that enthusiastically.
Enthusiastically, it said it, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we gonna try to use it and hope to sneak in because we don't know what's on the other side of the door or what exactly is gonna happen? Will it open a trap door under our feet?
WD-40 on the hinges or something?
Do you want to be like flying invisible or levitating invisible and use it, Humphrey,
Let's just.
while we back away?
There's no. Once that door opens, anything magic, anything that's, being invisible or flying isn't gonna save our ass here.
Okay, then I'm gonna have one hand on my sword, key in the other hand, and put it in and turn it.
Happy to do so. I mean, there could be an alarm spell on it or whatever.
Yeah, as you're thinking about alarm spells, you turn the key and all of you teleport.
Oh, great. Bill's had enough of our bullshit. He's just like, go, guys.
No, I mean that's literally what happens. A bright light blinds you for a split second, and then you find yourself in a 10 by 10 room. And in that 10 by 10 room, which is very unadorned, is a doorway and a plaque. And what that says, we'll have to find out on the next episode of D&D with Dads. Huzzah! Thank you, as always.
We're at the tower.
We fucking finally
made it into
Jesus.
the tower. Did not die. God. You didn't die. You didn't get attacked by shadow demons. I was really strongly hoping that someone would have torches or a light spell, but you guys, you avoided a lot of the death that should have happened. So you are in the tower, and next episode, we'll find out what you guys see in that room. Thank you, as always, to all of the patrons on Patreon, all of the channel fans who are lifelong subscribers, and hopefully you receive some entertainment out of this epically long episode. Actually, we had a really long session, so
good.
That's good. We're making up for missed time. Okay. So hopefully everybody will be here for the next episode, including Mikey, as we delve into the Mage's Tower. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you next time.
Well, hello, and welcome to Bill Allen World. I am Wizzy, the Wizard. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. Tune in to the next episode of whatever show you were just watching, and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.